These lemon berry cookies make the perfect summer snack, both decadent and light enough for a summer dessert. You need to try this recipe. For this recipe, you will need a half a cup of softened butter, 1 cup of sugar, 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. You're going to need 1 to 2 lemons for this recipe. You'll use both the zest and the juice, 1 whole large egg, and then a total of 3/4 cup of berries that have been frozen. I'm using raspberries and blackberries, but you can use whatever berries you like. You may also use fresh berries, but just make sure to freeze them a couple hours before making this recipe. You need a teaspoon of cornstarch as well. And optionally, but I highly recommend, a 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips. So make sure you're starting with frozen berries. If you're working with fresh berries, freeze them a couple hours before you start this recipe. I like to freeze them ahead of starting because it makes them a little easier to chop up, specifically raspberries, and you don't get the juices all over the place. So we're just going to coarsely chop our raspberries and our blackberries. You can use strawberries, you can use blueberries, any berries you like. I've chosen raspberries and blackberries because when we lived in my old house, we had a blackberry bush out front and we would have an abundance of blackberries at this time every year. I also really like the swirl of color that blackberries and raspberries combine to give the cookie. So now I'm going to measure out a total of 3/4 cup between both of my berries. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch to our berries and mix that together well. Once you have your berries coated in cornstarch, go ahead and put those back in the freezer. I also chilled my bowl ahead of time. We're going to put 6 tablespoons of our room temperature butter into our chilled bowl, and we're going to add 1 cup of sugar to that. On a medium speed, you're going to start whipping your butter and sugar. While that is whipping, we're going to zest our lemons. You're going to need about a heaping tablespoon of lemon zest, depending on how much of an intense lemon flavor that you like. I use between 1 and 2 whole lemons for the zest. As you can see, this grating tool is great for catching the lemon. Let's see if I can find this or similar, and I'll link it down below in the description. I actually got this when I was in culinary school, so I will try to find this one or a similar one. And then we're going to get our lemon juice. So using this little trick, you can just poke some holes in your lemon with a fork. This helps to extract the juice. And over a strainer, so you can catch any of the pulp or the seeds, we're just going to strain it. And watch out for rogue seeds. Oh my! I used about 2 tablespoons total for this recipe, so that was about 1 whole lemon. Mind you, we are still creaming our butter and sugar on a medium speed. We're going to, in a separate bowl, in a fine mesh sieve, sift together our flour And then you're going to combine with your flour, your salt, your baking soda, and your baking powder. Whisk those together. Back to our creaming mixture. Now, because the bowl was cold, this is going to take a little more encouragement, but you want to keep whipping until she's fluffy. We're going to scrape down the sides of our bowl and we're going to let her keep whipping for another minute. Go ahead and add in your lemon zest and whip that together. And when that's combined, go ahead and add in your egg and mix that till combined. Up next, we'll put in our lemon juice as well as our vanilla. And if you let this whip too long, it may start to curdle, so act fast and grab your dry sifted ingredients and on a low speed gradually add your flour mixture into your butter mixture. Don't overmix this, just beat it until the dry ingredients are combined. And I restarted on a low speed and I'm just going to toss in my white chocolate chips. I let it go for just a couple turns around the bowl and I stop it again. I'm going to scrape off my paddle and the sides of my bowl to make sure I get all that goodness. It's now time to add our frozen berries, so take those out of your freezer and combine them. You want to fold them in just so they're incorporated. If you do too much folding, they're going to dye the entire batter a different color. I like to keep just a little bit of a swirl, so I'm going to gently fold these in, but not too much. Even the cookie dough is just so beautiful to look at. It reminds me of summer so much. Using a 1 tablespoon cookie scoop, I am now going to put them about an inch apart on my cookie sheet. I was able to fit 20 on one sheet. I have large cookie sheets lined with parchment. You're going to bake your cookies in a preheated oven of 325 degrees Fahrenheit, starting at 15 minutes. It may take a few minutes longer, but you will know they're done when they are no longer shiny on top and just right around the edges start to turn brown. You'll take them out of your oven and let them cool on the cookie sheet for about 5 minutes, and then you can remove them to a wire rack. Let them cool completely on the wire rack, and then you can go ahead and apply the glaze, which is coming up next. I say the glaze is optional, but it really is just the perfect topping for this cookie. You're going to start off with a half a cup of sifted confectionery sugar and about 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. A little tip, start with your tablespoon of lemon juice in the bowl first before adding in your confectionery sugar. This helps so that you can get all of the dry confectionery sugar mixed well. Add in a little at a time until just incorporated. Now, if you feel that your glaze is too thick, you can add a little bit more of lemon juice. So keep mixing until you reach your desired consistency. If it's too thin, add a little bit more confectioner's sugar. I just put this glaze in a Ziploc bag I'm using as a piping bag, and my cookies are totally cool. If they're any kind of warm, your glaze is just going to soak right into the cookie. While still delicious, you won't get that pretty icing effect on top. Drizzle over the top of your cookies, and then you're all set to go. And you're all set. There you have your lemon berry cookies, the perfect summer treat. Please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Check out some other delicious recipes I have on my channel as well. I'll see you guys next time.